Hi there, it's May 31st and we're continuing our voyage through the book of 2 Samuel, and we've come to 2 Samuel chapter 17. The situation we have here is that there's been insurrection. David's son Absalom has overthrown him, and David is now fleeing into the wilderness, into the desert, and Absalom is establishing his new kingdom. He has as his closest advisor a man called Ahitophel, whose counsel is regarded as very wise. And Ahitophel at this point advises Absalom to pursue David quickly while he's on the run, to go after him with a band, an army, a small army, and to defeat David. For some reason, Absalom now asks Hushai, who is a friend of David, and remember that David has put Hushai into Absalom's court to be his supporter, his secret supporter and his secret voice. And Hushai actually says, well, Ahithophel's advice isn't that good, because you know what your father's like. He's like a bear robbed of her cubs. He's fierce. He'll be hiding out in some cave in the desert, and if you come against him and you get defeated, that's really not going to look good for you in leading Israel. So Hushai, to kind of earn time for David, to gain time for David, says, no, get a big army together, call troops from Dan to Beersheba, from the north to the south of Israel, get a big army together. And Absalom, wouldn't it look good if you yourself went out at the head of the army so that you were seen as the great new leader of Israel? And Absalom, in his vanity, receives this advice, and he thinks, this is good, I'll do this. And so Hushai manages to get word to David through Zadok the priest, and then through the sons of the priests, Jonathan and Ahimaaz, and they get word to David, although Jonathan and Ahimaaz are nearly captured by the men of Absalom, who see them leave and pursue them, but a woman hides them in a well to keep them safe. But then they continue their journey, and they tell David that he needs to get to safety by going across the Jordan. They say it's not, don't hide in the wilderness because you're vulnerable in the Judean wilderness, in those hills to the southeast of Jerusalem. Go over the Jordan, and they're into Gilead. And so David does that, and he gains this time to be able to get away. Ahitophel is so ashamed that his counsel has not been received, and maybe sees the terrible failure that is coming because of Absalom's vanity, that he actually goes and commits suicide. He hangs himself, and it's a terrible ending for Ahitophel. But the story towards the end of chapter 17 comes of Absalom and this big Israeli army going across the Jordan themselves to Gilead and pursuing David. However, right at the end of chapter 17, we find that the surrounding tribes who are coming to supply David, maybe they see David as being of interest to them because he's against Israel, and so they supply him with food and with supplies for his troops. And the chapter ends with this standoff coming between the two of them. You know, our human vanity is a serious thing, and Absalom's vanity in particular, his desire for fame, his desire for power, drive him to right into the arms of Hushai, who is actually playing on this. It's so different to David. David has accepted this situation, and he has committed himself into the hands of God, and he's one who is accepting that he has sinned and that God is in control. And therefore we'll see, as it turns out in the next couple of chapters, that David in the hands of God will find restoration, while Absalom will find the consequences of his rebellion come down literally on his own head. Have a very good May the 31st.